Welcome to Hood, Outlaws and Legends. In this video we are going to be reviewing the game and I'm going to tell you whether I believe it is worth the money or not. To start this off, a couple of minor issues that have pretty much instantly been fixed. Those being some server issues, not because there are too many players, but because there were too many players trying to log on all at the same time. That literally took them a couple of hours to fix, and now the server stability is actually pretty good. There was also an issue with crossplay, and that meant that the players on Epic Games had their progression reset, because it was either they don't reset the progress and they can't fix the crossplay, or they reset people's progress and they fix the crossplay. They also said it wouldn't happen again, and it should have been fully resolved. But that's pretty much the only negatives I found with this game, and they are minor, just launch issues. It's not as though the game is having like full-on teething problems with bugs and server disconnections and things like that. So there is easy anti-cheat in this game, so hopefully cheaters won't ruin it. It's a PvPvE based game, so player versus player and player versus environment. There are 4 different characters in the game, and they do their own things. So you've got like melee, support, tank, stealth, archer, like range damage sort of thing. And there is a tutorial as soon as you launch into the game that will actually let you play as all 4 characters so that you can get to grips with what the game's actually about. As well as being PvPvE, it's 2 teams of 4 that will play in the matches. So it's 8-player games. There's no single player to this or anything. It's like multiplayer only. And your task when you jump into the game is to find a sheriff, and you need to pickpocket that sheriff in order to grab the key for the vault off them, and then you'll have to move around and locate the vault, open it up, and there's a treasure chest in there that you need to steal, and because it's got the PvP function, you have to do it before the enemy team. The one thing about the sheriff that I can say is do not get too close. The sheriff will lock onto you, the sheriff will pick you up, grab you. When I got killed by the sheriff, they literally just picked me up, chucked me to the ground and stomped on my head. It's a one-hit kill. You can't be anywhere near the sheriff unless you are not noticed, so they have to be completely unaware of you so that you can pickpocket them and rob the key. However, once you have the chest, the sheriff is going to come after you. The only way to deal with the sheriff is to actually chuck explosives. The explosives will only down the sheriff. You can't actually kill that sheriff. There are capture points in the map, and I can't stress enough how important these capture points are, because they're going to help your team if you have control of them, because they can be used as respawn points. Each time you die, your respawn timer will increase, so you've got to try and stay alive, keep control of the capture points, because it's going to benefit your team in a huge way. Once you steal the treasure, you can decide how much gold, like if you're successful and you actually get to steal some of it, with the gold you have stolen, because it's not just you're going in taking the gold, you're stealing off the rich to give to the poor. It's basically like a Robin Hood sort of thing. But once you have some, you can actually decide how much goes to the public and how much you keep. And you need to try and find a balance with this, as helping the public is going to level up your camp, and it's also going to unlock different weapon and character like outfit cosmetics. But you're going to need to keep some of the gold to buy yourself perks, because you unlock perks as you level up. The one thing, like tiny issue I have with this is on the scales of justice, where you're deciding how much gold goes to which side. I just wish they would give a little bit more time. Overall in the game there are 5 different maps, but each map will have 3 different keeps, or 3 different areas where, like buildings sort of thing, where the chest can actually spawn. And in each of the buildings there are 5 different chest locations, so it varies the gameplay every single match. Each team member in this game has a very, very good role. Robin is going to be your lookout, long range. Marianne is going to be for stealth, sneaking around and coming up behind enemies and assassinating them. You also have John, who's a melee sort of tank. He can deal a lot of damage as well. I would say he's definitely stronger than the other character for melee. But one of John's abilities is going to be crazy important for your team, because he can actually lift up portcullises, which are the like massive gates that are kind of blocking you off from basically getting a shortcut in the game. The shortcuts are like big, they're going to drastically help your team. So there are a few different things that are good for John, but then you have Took, or however Took is pronounced, I just call him Took. He is going to be able to use his ability. He's got like a mace sort of thing as his weapon, but also his ability is to heal yourself and the team. So you've got like a healer, a melee sort of tank, stealth, you've got ranged and like a lookout sort of character. Each of them will have their own important roles, and I strongly recommend if you're playing this game, do not try and duplicate like characters. Don't have like a full team of 4 Robins, because I just don't think it's going to work like that. My victories have come from having a very good variety of characters in the match, because they do play a very important role. Once you have stolen the key off the sheriff, you've opened up the vault sort of thing, like the chest room. Once you get the chest, and I believe it's John can actually carry the chest faster because he's just a really strong character, you have to take the chest to an extraction point, and there are a couple on each of the maps. And basically once you get to an extraction point, there's a winch, and you have to winch the chest out of there. You can do it so that either 3 people are defending the player that's winching, or you can have 2 and 2, so 2 people winching, 2 people defending. And I would say it depends on how hard the other team are pushing. But you will also have the state, so the AI, they will be coming to stop your escape. And once the chest is at an extraction point, you don't have to pick it up and move it to another one if you manage to get your team onto the winch. So say the enemy team have taken the chest, they've taken it to the extraction point, they've started winching. There are little points at the top, you have like basically sections of how much gold has been stolen. As soon as the chest is on an extraction point, if you can get the other team off it, your team can start winching from there. So it can go multiple ways. You can have the whole thing for yourself, the enemy team can get the whole lot, there can be dribs and drabs between each team. You could have your team take most of the gold, but the enemy team manage to get, like, they nab a little bit of it. Always be on your feet when you're playing this game, because I match made for a game and it chucked me in to a match that was part way through. So always just be ready to go. Player level is very important. You will be able to see that publicly in the lobbies when you are looking for a match. As you level up, you'll level up your characters too, which will unlock better perks for purchase that are going to help you in battle. The gameplay on this game is intense, as you are constantly engaged, whether it's battle, planning your next move, or stealing the gold and the good stuff and having to watch your back. The controls in this game are very easy to understand, the game looks good, the servers are not only smooth but they're dedicated, there's crossplay, it's a pretty cheap game, it's not like a full price AAA £60 game. As I said, looks good, feels good, I totally recommend this game. Simply just the progression of your characters and your camp, the constant action, the variation and a mix of PvP and PvE keeps the player excited, mixes it all up and it feels fresh to play. Unless you've played like 1,000+ matches, I don't think it's going to be too repetitive. Because there's 5 different maps, there's 3 different keeps, you've got 5 different chest locations in each of the keeps. And then there's different extraction points and you'll have different characters being played in the games and stuff. I think this game is definitely worth the money. And on that note, we're going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.